It's going to be a short one, too.
Well, let's go to Syria for a second.
Sure.
There seems to be a renewed interest from some members of the ISSG, not you, not the United States, and certainly not your allies on the ISSG, to have the UN add at least one of the groups, Ahrar al-Sham, into the list of groups that are not included in the ceasefire. Yeah. You, in the past, have opposed such a move, and I'm just wondering if there is anything. There seem to be new allegations that they are pretty much interwoven with Nusra, which is not covered by the ceasefire, and I'm just wondering if there's any revisiting of this position.
There's no change in our position. We do know the reports that Russia's proposed placing, we believe, both opposition groups, Jaysh al-Islam and Ahrar al-Sham, on the UN sanctions list that includes ISIL, the al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group. Russia is publicly attempting to designate groups that are parties to the cessation of hostilities. Such actions, we continue to believe, would have damaging consequences to the cessation, just as we are trying to de-escalate the situation on the ground.
But is your position based on just simply trying to preserve the cessation of hostilities, or is your position based on the fact that you think that the Russians are wrong when they say that these two groups are they're woven together with al-Nusra?
Oh, we've spoken before, and when you say woven together, you're talking about co-located or the Russian allegation
I think that there's some who say that that they're co-located and they intermingle, but there are others. The more stronger case is that they are allied with or are essentially the same as.
Okay. Well, these are parties to the cessation. So our position on that is that we believe that that they're still covered under the cessation. We disagree with that assessment at this time. We continue to reach out to these opposition groups to ensure that they are, adhering to the cessation and continuing to create the environment for a political transition.
Which allegation do you disagree with? That they are allied with or essentially the same as al-Nusra, or that they are?
No, we are very aware that there's some co-location. We've spoken before about both Russia and our role to try and identify. Okay,
but from your point of view, the Russians are the Russian position is wrong. These guys are not terrorists, and they should continue to be.
At this stage, our position is that they continue to be parties to the cessation. Sure.
On this issue, both Ahrar al-Sham and Jaysh al-Islam, they have exactly the same bylaw, almost the same bylaws. They don't have a constitution. They have what they call internal document. They espouse the same dogma. They believe in the same thing. They practice the same practices as Dept al-Nusra and as al-Qaeda. Why shouldn't they be designated as terrorist organizations?
So, we constantly review information.
Right.
We are constantly assessing these groups. At this stage, our position is that these groups are members of the cessation of hostilities. We continue to have dialogue with them. If our position changes, we'll make that assessment then, but we are in constant review of this.
So you're not bothered by the fact that some of their leaders actually, they go from one place to the other and back and forth and so on?
We've talked about the intermingling on the ground. We've
Right.
talked about, especially in areas of Aleppo, where it's very difficult to tease that out. This is one of the commitments that we made when we released the statement with the Russians on Monday, that commitment to try and differentiate. So we are aware of this. As we get more information, as we assess, we continue to look at it.
And I promise my last question on this. You always say that you want to support the secular opposition. There's, according to their statement, there's nothing secular about these groups. In fact, they want, a very strict Islamic caliphate in Syria.
At this stage, they are parties to the cessation. We'll leave it there. Matt, did you have more?